And welcome to Good Neighbors. Yes, we have already started. And of course, we welcome you here to watching this station and coming to learn about what's going on in our community and how you can get more involved. And you know what? Also have a good time as
Yes.
well. Now, on today's program, we have an individual. Some of you may have seen her, some of you may have worked with her. And for the others, you know, we hope to have you soon get in contact with her. But she is one who has had some experiences in her life where God has allowed her to blossom into helping others be able to blossom. And I'm referring to Sister Crystal Calloway. Hi.
Hello.
You have to shake her hand. And you know, we hug and show much love.
Yes.
And we thank you for being here. Of course, you know, we've talked about doing this for a while.
Yes.
And a lot of things have happened. And of course, this is the appointed time.
Yes,
that
yes,
God has
indeed.
allowed us to come together so you can share your heart and also receive.
Yes.
Because a lot of times, especially on this program, and I have to say a lot of times we have individuals who come and they give. And of course, it is for us also to return unto them so that they also can realize, you know what, I am appreciated for what I do. And as well as, you know, I appreciate others for helping me.
Yes.
But also I want to take this time out to say thank you for helping our young women. I know they're probably like, what in the world are they talking about? But, you know, just hang on in there. But helping our young women. And you know what, okay, Real Talk.
Yes.
Real Talk is the program that we're referring to. It's a program concerning young women. She's going to give us more in a minute. But I want to say thank you for even helping the mothers realize their positions.
Yes.
If not just the mothers per se, but the mother figures,
Yes.
the women who are who may not have children, but they want to help someone else, as we call it, mentor.
Yes.
But you know what, to be able to help someone else continue on in life in spite of what has happened in the past.
Yes.
But to grow from where they are now. So, Mrs. Calloway, yes, she is married with how many children?
With 4 children.
Amen, amen. And you are originally from?
Pennsylvania, if you can't tell.
Yes.
Yes.
Also, you came here by way of military.
Yes, my husband is in the United States Air Force.
Amen, amen. I'm an Air Force brat, but anyway,
Yes.
that's not the show. But we're talking today about Real Talk, and Real
Yes.
Talk is what?
Real Talk is a program for mothers and daughters to reconnect or connect that relationship back together. And we started it off at Hershey High School, where we just got a group of women together who just wanted to pour out to young women. And like you said, just show them that, you know what, no matter where you're at in life, we want to encourage you and to get you to the right position as a young woman.
Now, how did this develop? Of course, you're a young woman.
Yes.
But
I hope to think.
how did this come about? Did you need some encouraging? Did you need some inspiring? Give us that story.
Well, the program came about because I have a 16-year-old. Well, she's 17 now, but she was 16 when the program started. And as a mother, I just felt very disconnected. We were going through a couple of trials and tribulations, and I just felt like, you know, I cannot be the only mother out here going through these problems.
Now, when you say disconnected, do you mean, and I'm trying to keep it real.
Yes, real
so
talk.
people understand. They may not even realize what is really going on. But, you know, different activities going on in life, and you're going to this, and she's going to this, and you're doing this, you got to run here. Are you talking about that kind of disconnect or some other kind?
Yes, that kind of disconnect. My daughter was very active in school. I'm active in our church, in the community. And you're right, she was going her way and I was going mine. And by the time we got home, maybe 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I'm exhausted, she's exhausted. I asked her, well, what happened at school today? Oh, it was good. And that was it.
That's the famous line.
Yeah, it was good. That's it. And then to her bedroom she went, to mine I went. And I said, there has to be something more. I know that more than this is going on in your life. And I just found that through our experience, she was hurting and I was hurting. I had my daughter at a young age, so she didn't come with a manual saying, you know, this is what you do when she turns 14 or 15. And I just felt like we just needed more as mothers so we can raise our daughters up in the right way. And I didn't want her to be caught up in the world. You know, like I said, we're active in church, and I didn't want the world to grab her, because most of the time when you see mothers and fathers, they're so busy in their ministries, but in their house is chaos.
That's right.
And that's out of order. You know, God's not saying that, you know, he wants chaos in your home and you reach everyone else.
That's right.
I wanted to make sure that I was reaching my daughter and I wasn't losing her while I was out there trying to save the world.
That's right.
So that's how Real Talk came about. And I went to her school one day, and just the heaviness that I felt at Hershey High School. And I'm sure it's in all high schools across America, but I was vested because I had a daughter at Hershey. So I went to the assistant principal and I just talked to her and I said, you know what, I feel a heaviness here. And I didn't want to be one of those parents that said, you know, it's always the teachers. You're in here, my kid's not.
Yeah.
No, I didn't want to be that type of parent. I wanted to come with a solution. And so it was the end of the school year in May. She said, you know, go home, think about what you want to do, and then come back. Well, all summer long, I just began to pray and really just seek God's guidance on, you know, what would you have for these girls? Because as mothers, and even for me, I tend to say I want to do a lot of things, but what is it that they need?
Yes.
And so
a lot of things to get you caught up in other things,
right?
And you miss the purpose,
yes,
and the vision and the focus of what you're supposedly ordained to be doing,
right? And so in June or July, the teachers come back or the principals come back. So I went back and I had a whole layout of things that God had given me to do with these girls. And so last year we did 3 sessions, and we wanted to start off small because we didn't want to do, you know, so many times you get so gung-ho about doing things, and then when you get into it, you're like, oh, you know, I worked a full-time job, I'm exhausted, and then it just dies out. And I knew that that was not the case. I knew this was going to be a long-term vision, something that's going to be planted here in Wichita Falls and all across the world. So we wanted to start off small. So we had 3 sessions, and the first one was called Take Off Your Mask. And it was just where women throughout Wichita Falls came and exposed themselves to the girls. And it just showed the girls that, you know, we had teenage moms, women that had been raped and had babies from a rape, women that was abused drugs, and just to show them that we know we've made mistakes in our past.
So you're telling me that there are women, there are women,
yes,
who are willing to come forth and vocalize what has happened to them for the betterment of others. And I say that because there are so many individuals, things happen to them, and they're like, you know, I'm never going to tell anyone. There's some things you can't and you shouldn't tell nobody but you and God.
Yes, amen.
But otherwise, there are other times, like there are things that need to come out because you can help someone else. So there are some women, you were in contact with some women,
yes,
who would boldly say, not just the gory details, but something to let someone else know that they're not alone.
They're not alone, and that we're not perfect as women, that we've had struggles in our past. And I think that's what makes this program so awesome, because that's why we call it Real Talk, because we talk about real issues. We don't sugarcoat things, and we just tell you the way it is. And that's what makes it so awesome. And I think our young youth and our young women are wanting that. They're wanting someone to say, you know what, this is what happened to me. I'm not perfect. On the outside, you see me as I am now. You know, a lot of teachers and professionals in the community, but I'm not perfect. And so that's okay. But I'm going to meet you where you're at. So yes, there are women in the Wichita Falls and surrounding areas that are real and that want to expose themselves for the betterment of our youth, our young women.
And I think that is that's not just special, but it's precious.
Yes.
Because a lot of young ladies and a lot of adults still go through and don't have anyone to talk to, don't have anyone to be real with, and in essence don't have anyone who can pour back into them.
Right.
Because it's one thing to, okay, I'm telling this and this happened, and now, okay, so where am I?
Right.
What do I do? But I want to go back. You said you started this organization and you didn't have a committee. Wait a minute. You didn't have a board meeting. You didn't have motions. You didn't have any of that.
No. I know, it's amazing. I had a group of women that I can say that have mentored me and have definitely been there for me since before I got here, but especially since I got to Wichita Falls. But just a group of women that I came and just commissioned and said, you know what, this is what I want to do. So we didn't have an official board, as you would say it, but we had a group of women that were serious about what I wanted to do and really came alongside of me and said, we will help you. In the first year, we didn't want for anything. I mean, we had T-shirts, we had journals. Yes.
And when you do things like that, you follow what God has put in your heart. And of course, later on, you get your video, you get your board and all that, you know, get all that. And there's a nonprofit management center you can go to.
Yes, very great.
As well as
great.
Online. But just starting off, just saying, you know what, I'm going to do what has been placed in my heart, and I'm going to follow through. But what I'm hearing also, you kind of went through this process yourself before you started the Real Talk,
right? In
the sense of how you've been mentored, you've been helped, you've been assisted. And one thing I've noticed with you, in the sense of all the mentoring with the ladies, all the Real Talk, that you've of course went through this process and you've expressed it in various ways that people can relate to, and it's tangible. And being tangible, I'm referring to your book.
Yes, I have a book and it's called The Blessing of Sisterhood. And when I first got here 3.5 years ago, I sat at the computer and I just started to type. And the book is just about women who